Hey everyone, it's Presley at ActOutGames.com here, and today it is Comic Book Thursday, and I'm going to be reviewing Silk 1 and Squirrel Girl 2. So let's start with Silk. So Silk is this story about this girl with spider powers just like Spider-Man, and she works at the Daily Bugle just like Spider-Man. There's a lot of parallels to Spider-Man and Silk. So she actually does a lot of stories on Silk, even though she herself is Silk. Just like Peter Parker does stories in Spider-Man, even though he is Spider-Man. Yeah, there's so many parallels to Spider-Man in this, and it's super duper duper amazing. So we find out that her brother is in the hospital and he has amnesia, and he doesn't remember anything that happened to him. And Silk knows that he got into this gang and he did a lot of bad things and got brainwashed, but now that he has amnesia, he can't remember anything that happened to him, so no one else knows about what happened to him. So Silk has a plan to find out about what happened to him, and I'm not going to tell you that plan, but it is super duper duper amazing, and definitely pick this issue up and read it to find out what the plan is. It's really cool. So I absolutely love Silk's civilian design, and she also has short hair, which is really, really cute, and I absolutely love that lots of superheroines seem to start having short hair, which is really nice because I have short hair, and it's also more practical because the reason why I got my hair short was for jiu-jitsu and fighting, and that way when these superheroines are fighting crime, they don't have hair on their face and people can't grab it and get it all tangled up. One of the main reasons is while I was doing jiu-jitsu, I got a lock of hair pulled out of my head by someone's knee, about that long, about that wide, and like that long. So it's not getting pulled out all the time, and it's really nice and practical to have it short, so I really like that. The art style is really nice, and it's simplistic enough that you don't have to stare at the page for a minute just to take in the glorious art, but it is complicated enough that it looks really, really nice. And the cover actually ever so slightly reminds me of Gotham Academy. Alright, so let's move on to Squirrel Girl. So Squirrel Girl 2 is an absolutely amazing, really interesting comic book, and there's a lot that happens, so I'm going to try and explain it briefly without giving too much away. So while Squirrel Girl is sleeping, she gets transported all the way back to the 60s. Yes, while she's asleep, and she somehow didn't notice until she actually was in the 60s. So she goes out and she finds a disguise to blend in with everyone else in the 60s, and then she decides to go fight crime, but Tippy Toe keeps yelling at her because Tippy Toe is really worried that Squirrel Girl is going to cause a paradox while she's trying to get home. So the butterfly effect is this theory that when a butterfly flaps its wings, like in China, that if it affects a hurricane in America, so that something really tiny can affect something absolutely huge somewhere else. So in terms of time travel, that's like if something tiny happens in the 60s and it's going to hugely affect something that happened in 2015. So a lot of Telltale games are based on that subject, like a tiny decision you make at the beginning decides who dies at the end. So while Tippy Toe is trying to convince Squirrel Girl not to go fight crime, Squirrel Girl counters that by saying, "What am I supposed to do, stand around and not fight crime? Is my catchphrase eat nuts and carefully avoid kicking butts?" Because that honestly sounds like a terrible catchphrase / lifestyle choice. So that's really funny. So they also have this character list, and a couple of them are really funny. So I am going to read some of the ones that are really funny. So Squirrel Girl's skills are talking to squirrels, having powers of squirrels, and befriending strangers, and Tippy Toe's skills are talking to squirrels, having powers of squirrels, and being fed by strangers. So I thought those were really funny, as well as the 1960s is listed as a character, and its skills are functioning well as a location and a distancing literary milieu wherein aspects of modern society can be highlighted and or contrasted. Oh, that was a mouthful. But yeah, those are really funny. I absolutely love when they have the character lists and the skills listed like that in really funny but also really explanatory ways. It's also funny that the skills are literary devices that they use in the comic book. So Squirrel Girl tries to communicate with Nancy from present day, and the way that she does it is really, really clever, and Nancy seems to be the only one that remembers Squirrel Girl even existing, even her parents don't remember her, and everything like that. So Nancy's the only person that remembers her, and she's trying to find someone else to help her go back in time and rescue Squirrel Girl. which is really cool because Squirrel Girl is the superhero in this comic book, but it's actually her that needs to be rescued. And as always, they have the comments at the bottom of the page, and they're always really funny and one of the best parts of the comic book. So these are both great comic books, and it's a really great time to start jumping into these series. And it's really, really great because this is Silk #1, the re-release of Silk #1, so that's obviously a good time to jump in, as well as it is the Unbeatable Squirrel Girl issue 2 of the new release, and it was really funny last time of the first Squirrel Girl issue of this year, and they kind of talked about that a little bit, and it was really funny. So definitely check both of these out. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye!